It didn't take much more than a bottle and 2 chairs to make a speakeasy. This is what Daniel Okrent said in his book, Last Call, The Rise and Fall of Prohibition. Today, join us for some stories. Get your own bottle, glass, or mug, and relax. This is Speak Easily, and I'm your host, Krista Stoffer. Did you reading last night? I think there were 16 of us on there.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness.
It was a lot of fun. But also entertaining because it's a musical and there's certain sections where everybody is singing the same thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't work on Zoom. So it was like,
No, my wife and her, she's in the Kodo band, and like they have tried to rehearse electronically and it just doesn't work. So, you know,
can they FaceTime?
There's always a lag no matter where you're connected to, unless you're like literally hardwired directly to the internet. Like you just don't have a fast enough connection, and there's always just a little bit of a delay, and it can be different from one person to another. So like one person may be like 0.5 seconds, another person might be 0.2. So it's like you never get it right. So
whenever the timing is everything, that's just enough to throw it off, right?
Right.
Yeah, just enough to make everything really complicated. So
This is completely off topic, you know. Sorry, Jesse, I know you're our guest, but then when did your wife start playing Kodo?
Before I met her. So it was probably about 15 years ago. She was in Japan teaching, and she ran across somebody who was a Kodo instructor and was like, "This is beautiful. I'd love to learn to play this instrument." And now she and the other 2 ladies that she plays with they're all American women, but they that's kind of an oddity because a lot of Japanese people who come here, there's groups for people who have kind of come here to and still play together, that kind of thing, but they play as sort of a cohesive band. So I mean, it's beautiful. If you haven't listened to it before, it's literally entrancing music. It's like you listen to it and it looks insanely complicated because it's all like a guitar. You can kind of like tune it to exactly the right note and everything like that, and then get it real precise. This is like you slide things back and forth, and half the time you're pushing down on certain strings to get a slightly different note. And I mean, it looks crazy complicated, and it's all written in Japanese and goes literally left to right to left and up to, and down to up, and the whole thing. I mean, it's nuts.
That's why I couldn't master it.
Yeah.
I couldn't pinpoint what it was, but like now that you mention it, it was all written in Japanese.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's crazy, and it's all written in Japanese, and it's all on like a minor scale. So it's like you can tune it to a Western scale, but you can only get like certain notes out of it. So it's like you're kind of limited on what you can play, that kind of thing. It's nuts. It's crazy.
I play the kazoo.
Well, you're really good at the kazoo.
Thank you.
You minored in college, right?
Yeah, it was about as useful as that theater degree. Oh my goodness. Jesse, you play guitar, right?
I do.
You dabble. Do you play anything else?
No, I mean, is that not enough? Come on. I'm sorry I can't play.
I'm just asking.
Jeez.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm not a multi-talented musician. No,
what else do you play? Nothing?
I play acoustic and electric. Yeah, I used to play. I'm busy. I don't have enough time to learn. I can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? I'm an old man. I can't learn nothing.
You are not an old man.
I'm just saying that we're the same age.
Hey guys, I think we're all 3 of us are old at this point, so
no, we're not.
We're the middle agers.
You're the oldest of us.
I certainly am. 40 years young.
Am I the youngest? Am I the baby?
Probably.
Yeah. Shut up. In case you haven't, we've known Jesse for a while, so this banter is not just us being rude.
Well, no, what episode? Okay, also, I have to look back. What episode was Jesse on before? I can't remember the number.
I don't remember numbers.
And here's, I know, like I think it was 19. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to double check here while you guys are chatting, like because it's one where like I saved a template for my file for like when I save these audio files out, and every time it loads his name in. So every time I'm like, there's Jesse. All right, yeah. So this time I have to do less typing to get the thing in. So
welcome. That's the only reason you guys have me on.
There you go. That's welcome back.
I just don't want to type that out again. Just have Jesse on again.
Ben and I talked about this. It's so funny that by the end of this, we're all going to know each other's homes. Like, oh, what is that picture back there?
Oh, is that new? Yes. Actually, I was going to say I really like your posters in the background. Those are cool.
Nice.
You got Rollins and Offspring, and what else am I seeing back there?
You got it's Bouncing Souls.
Nice.
It's a show that he did at the Stone Pony with Lucero. That one.
These are all shows you went to, or is just
I got them all in my office here. You can't see, but I've got Springsteen, The Descendants, Rancid, Gaslight Anthem, a bunch of stuff I love. Yeah, it's kind of the thing. Me and my wife, we collect, preferably, like limited screen prints if we can get them for like shows that we go to.
Very
so
nice.
We got them. We got a couple out in our like area where we have our record player and everything, but most of them ended up in my office because, they don't really go with the decor in the living room.
When you saw Rollins, did he just play, or did he tell any cool stories?
So he doesn't really play anymore. He's kind of retired from music. He did a benefit with, I think, Cyndi Lauper recently.
Okay.
Rise Above out somewhere in like LA, but he doesn't really play music anymore, and it's all spoken word.
That's awesome.
He's one of my all-time.
He's an amazing human being. He's a truly amazing human being.
He's a personal hero of mine. And
yeah.
So we went, I don't know, this is probably 3 or 4 years ago, and saw him down in Nashville. And just spoken word, and this was this was right before the election, actually, is when it was. So there was a lot going on to talk about.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're a fan of Rollins, you really want to know what he thinks about things like that.
Sure.
He's so intelligent. And so it's part comedy, because he's got this weird brand of like intensity, but it's funny. It's funny, right? But then the storytelling, just for him, to me, he's a hero. And you hear him talk about stories about his heroes and Iggy Pop and the Ramones, going to see them, him and Ian MacKaye from Fugazi grew up together. Just hearing these stories. And he's got podcasts.
That's crazy.
He's
just
awesome. He's
Krista,
awesome.
have you listened to any Henry Rollins, just like interviews with him or anything?
I know who he is, but I don't think I've seen anything.
Oh, man.
I mean, he's an actor too, isn't he?
He's acted in things, but he's more than anything else. I'd say he's kind of like a humanitarian anymore.
Okay.
Like he goes around and like he talks about all of his experiences, but like he's the kind of guy that like if the government says don't go to this place because it's dangerous, he's the first person to go there and say, why is this place so dangerous? And like he'll go and talk to the actual people, and
he writes a ton of books.
Yeah, tons of books. Yeah,
he's a fascinating individual. And
crazy smart too. Yeah, crazy smart.
So that poster is especially cool because you can't see at the bottom, but it's a Shepard Fairey poster, and it's signed by Shepard and Rollins on the bottom.
Oh, that is awesome.
Pretty cool.
That is awesome. Very cool.
I'll let you borrow one of his books sometime. What do you say, Krista?
Ben's totally geeking out over here.
Geeking out about it too. It's fine. And
when I see people who have good music taste, I'm like, you have good music taste. I see what you got back there. Nice.
Sure.
I've got pictures of my cats back here. So this is my wife's cat Sakura, who passed a couple years ago. Aww. This is my cat Danger, who passed a couple years ago. He was my buddy. So that just happens to be what I have in the background. So
way to bring
I put up Christmas lights.
I know. Sorry, I probably shouldn't have mentioned my dead cats. So.
They're great pictures, though. That's equally.
Yeah. Thank you.
I would argue that's more important than concert posters, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, I can see that.
I'm really excited because we're in my basement. I'm not going to show you how creepy it is down here.
Ooh, do it. Yeah,
no,
show everybody. Yes.
I don't want to
break the illusion.
There is. Was there an illusion?
Well, last time you didn't have the Christmas lights up.
I put the Christmas lights up there. The sheet that's taped to the window.
There's your your security glass block right there. That's nice.
And what's even cooler is that we have a dryer that plays this lovely lilting music whenever the load is done. So that's going to probably happen pretty soon. So if you hear
people's tolerance to professional like recording and everything is going to change drastically over the next couple of months. It's like, I mean, you're not even going to hear things like, phones that go off in the background. Like that used to be a huge no-no. Now it's just like, what are you going to do? Yeah, right. I'm home.
Wait a minute. I'm a thinker.
Oh my god!
Awesome.
Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba. Oh, and the red duct tape came down too.
Oh my gosh!
This is the best episode we've ever done. Without question.
Shut
I
up.
like. Now they're just dead lights hanging there.
That's sad.
Oh man! All right. Well, hey, this is fun, guys. I don't know that we can top this at this point.
I don't know. I think that
It's a nice plant.
It's your pot plant.
everybody thinks it's a pot plant. Things are not going well. Clearly.
That's what the pot plant's there for.
Yeah. You notice she didn't deny that it's a pot plant. She just said everybody thinks it's a plant.
Everybody thinks it's a pot plant.
And it is.
Yeah. We can't afford stuff like that. No, it's a money tree, apparently. I don't think it's doing very well.
Oh yeah,
Like my Christmas
I
lights.
recognize the trunk of it. Yeah, it's a money tree.
We had on one of the calls that we did, my friend Eric, we did a play reading. So I was on one side of the screen, you know, I'm toward the end of all of us in a line, and Eric's on the other, and he has a plant literally over here. So we pulled off the between two ferns. It was great. So hopefully, yeah, I'll just have all of my guests now come on the podcast. Like, can you put a plant to your right side, please? So
Balance it out.
anyway,
Gotta keep it even on both sides.
yeah, and clearly like Christmas lights even. Whew. And it's Monday.
Is it? I don't even know anymore.
I don't know. Are you, my friend who lives out in North Carolina has done the best thing that I think I've seen on the internet. He writes out on a whiteboard every day, today is blank, the date, and how many days we've been stuck at home.
Yeah.
I, no joke, visit his page every day just to figure out what is
What day is it?
so, yeah, I'm really glad he's doing that. Because why would I look at a calendar or my device that's in my hand?
And if you happen to venture out right now, I don't know if you guys are going out at all to kind of get out of the house, but like we literally just went on a trip to Antrim Park to walk around the loop. And I mean, the traffic today looks like it would be 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. I mean, there's nobody out on the roads at all. It's crazy, you know?
Jesse, are you guys going out much? Like,
I mean, we're going for walks in the neighborhood. We're riding our bikes. We're taking the dogs for walks. You know, I've been playing. There's a basketball court at a church. It's a really nice outdoor basketball court at a church right down the street. I'm going down there and just shooting around. But like, very rarely are we going. Like we're having. We'll go to Target and do the pickup. So they'll just bring it out and put it in. You know, we're trying to avoid going into stores as much as possible, just because.
right.
I mean, this is serious stuff, you know what I mean? And the sooner that we can all, you know, accept that as a society and really just follow the guidelines that they're putting in place, hopefully the sooner we can get over this.
And if you look at the actual numbers too, it's working. Like, I mean, if you see the numbers that they're showing in the press conference, it's like Ohio is doing well considering.
We are nailing this thing.
Yeah.
Really, we really are. I mean, we're looked at it as an example nationally of how to do it right, which pretty cool, because a lot of times people they hate on Ohio. So now we're in the limelight, which is I like. I like that. Circumstances, but I'm happy we're doing something right here.
Yes, we're the best in the in the coronavirus pool for sure.
Not often people say be like Ohio. So
That's true. Yeah,
but they should, because Ohio is a great state.
Absolutely.
I feel I like Columbus. I love Columbus. I don't love Ohio, but I love Columbus. Do you?
Yeah, because I have a lot of family. My mom's from Southern Ohio. It's beautiful down there. Rolling hills, lush forests. It's just beautiful. Cincinnati's a great sports town. I'm a diehard Cavs fan. And as a music guy, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, you can find flaws anywhere. Columbus, I agree, is the cream of the crop. It's the not only the best city in Ohio, it's one of my favorite cities I moved here. I love this state. Yeah. But there's a lot in Ohio. I don't think, people say, it's just Columbus and nothing else. I disagree. You just did. You just did. There's other good things, there's other good parts of the state as well.
I may just not have see, now I feel bad.
Krista's hating on him.
Sorry,
Hating on Ohio.
All right.
Southern Ohio is beautiful. Now, you go, there's some areas of it that are more depressed than you would like to see, but it's a beautiful part of the country. It really is.
Yeah. I'm a city girl. I think that, we joke, a lot of people retire and then they move to these 1-2 acre places and just so they can spread out. And we're like, no, we're moving downtown Columbus, getting a condo, like wanting to be in the center of it all.
I get it. Yeah. I mean, the farthest out that I really, we live in the suburbs and I'm a city guy, all my life I have been really. So
yeah,
I need that convenience, but I would probably lose my mind if I had to spend too terribly long out in the middle of nowhere, especially with something like this going on. But once in a while, a weekend here and there is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I get why people like it. It's just not for me necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you work in the heart of downtown too. So
yeah.
Where do you park?
There's a parking garage. There's a parking garage next door.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. Just thought about that. I don't know why I think about things.
Krista forgot about parking lots there for a second.
We're running, guys. 10 hours later.
Things are not going well today here, okay? I'm losing my shit all over the place. Anyway, Jesse, you are a bartender at the Great Southern Whiskey Bar. Whiskey, I like saying that. That's fun. But you've been there, has it been a year?
It's almost 2 years.
How many?
Close to 2.
Oh, close to 2. I guess we have known each other longer than that. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've been in Ohio then, not even 2 full years yet.
No, but again, close.
Close to. Yeah.
Up. So I moved to Ohio right before I took that job.
Yeah.
So pretty close.
And you guys are shut down right now.
Yeah, the hotel is still running, but the entire food and beverage department is shut down. So not just the bar.
Yeah.
So, the bar is one outlet. It's kind of its own entity within the hotel, whereas it's part of it, but also people that are not staying there are also, they're welcome to come in. Our clientele is all over the place. But then there's the breakfast restaurant, which is a separate restaurant that's just for the guests. There's room service. There's banquets. A lot of people. So our bar staff is relatively small. We only have maybe like 8 people, but there's a ton of people just in my hotel alone that are affected by this because you think about all the different avenues. It's crazy. At first we thought we'd be able to get by with just, having minimal staffing to still get served some general services for the guests, such as in-room dining, room service, stuff like that. But we had to do away with everything. So it's crazy.
Are there that many people that are even staying in the hotel right now though?
Honestly, I don't even know, to tell you the truth. I mean, I've been talking with some of my bar staff and I've been talking with my boss here and there just to check in, but I don't know what's going on in the hotel because all of our work emails have been shut off.
Yeah.
So we can't even eat, we just have to eat personal emails and personal phone calls. I have no idea what's going on. I can't imagine it's very much. All I do know is that I think it's like a skeleton crew that's there because the hotel's still open, which is crazy to me. But people got, I don't know. I can't imagine too many people staying in a hotel right now, but I'm a little out of the loop with what's going on in there. I mean, initially they said that they thought that we would be back by May the 1st, if not sooner. Well, there's no way that's happening. And even if it did, I wouldn't feel comfortable going back because, it's one thing just to be out in the public, but something that was a concern of mine working in a hotel like that, so many of our guests are airline pilots and flight crews in general from around the world. And, early on, their exposure was very great to this coronavirus. And I would talk to a lot of those people about it, and they were all nervous. So I'm okay with not being at work right now because I feel like, outside of the obvious healthcare professionals and things of that nature, that the exposure is so high. As far as the bar industry, people that work at hotel bars, their exposure is high as well.
That makes sense.
Factor in worldwide travel.
Yeah.
Crazy. So I'm okay. We're okay. I'm eager to get back to work. I'm excited. I'm getting a little stir crazy, but I take this very seriously.
Yeah.
So I'm in no hurry until the medical professionals and the experts give us the okay. Really.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about how Ohio seems to be at the forefront of all of this, but maybe I just have smart friends, but it seems like everybody I know is like, no, we're taking this seriously. Like, we're staying home. We're not messing with it. I don't see it happening.
You don't see what happening? People going out?
Like people going, yeah, or hey, can we just meet? Can we just sit? We're not doing that. Like,
no. At first, people were, because none of us knew, because they kept going, 100 people, or less, and then 50, and then 10, and now they're like, if you don't live in the household, maybe you shouldn't go around them. Yeah. So, as we learn more about it, and there's still so much to learn, as we learn more about it, we're finding that just err on the side of caution, right. Because like I said, the sooner we can get through this, the better. And the only way to do that is to, it's cliche at this point, but like flatten the curve, right? You got to flatten the curve. Dr.
Amy is the coolest person on the planet.
And she has the coolest name, Amy Action.
She's great. We like her. Her. Well, I'm glad to hear that you guys are touching my face. I am so aware of touching my face now all the time.
But you're home, so that's okay. I mean, I think you can do it at home.
Thank you. I got Jesse's permission.
I mean,
I know, right?
If you can't do it at home, then I don't know what to tell you.
I think rules in general at home have kind of gone out the window. I don't know, if you guys are sticking with like, well, this is how we do
Lord,
things.
We're trying, but I mean,
we're trying too.
Yeah, the hard part about it is just like, you've got two very bored kids, and just, the one you can sort of explain, okay, well, there's this thing we're trying to avoid, and that kind of thing, and he's okay, fine. The other one, she's 1.5, and she doesn't know what the hell's going on. She just knows that she's bored out of her mind and wants to go outside and run, and so we try to do that as often as we can, but limit what we're doing.
That's the same thing. Yeah. Like my wife, Christina, sometimes she just has to let me outside so I can run. I'm very childlike in that. I'm just like, I just gotta get outside and just run around, do some zoomies.
Same.
You just gotta do it. She's like, all right, Jesse, go out there and burn off some of that energy.
I find myself wandering around the house sometimes. Like, I get up to probably to do something, but then I'm just sort of meandering. Like, I have no purpose except fighting with children about math. Yay. But it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
I saw a meme the other day about math that was like, it showed like how my kid used to be doing math, and it was doing like the new math thing. It was like how I'm teaching the math. And it was the old style of math. It's like, I'm not learning new math.
That's all we know.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like, why during this time of life, the coronavirus hits when they are doing long division. Long division. I can't do it. I don't like it.
That is Jesse, the upper limits of what I'm capable of doing in math.
And fractions. We talked about that. Fractions. Why?
Very inconvenient for this virus to hit right now. It really is.
It's so thoughtless.
So,
why could it
what, guys? I'm going to say it. Screw the coronavirus. What a jerk.
That's right. You said it.
I got my kids in the room, so I'm not going to say the other word.
Why not, Ben? You've said it before. They've learned those words.
Fuck the coronavirus.
So glad you're on a microphone. Oh my goodness. So, Jesse, you are, ideally going back, but in the meantime, you've been doing some cool stuff just for because you yourself have a personal brand. When you've worked hard to create lots of different avenues to use it within, but you as a bartender, I believe you have a extremely strong brand that you've made for yourself.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So
it wasn't a question. I didn't know.
I know.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Sometimes I forget how to talk to humans. What sort of stuff have you found useful within this time? Like, and I know you're like me. We don't sit still well. It's like, okay, I can't go anywhere. Okay, now what do we do? Let's do something different. Let's find a way to make it.
Yeah. So, I've been trying to use this time to the best of my ability to be productive with some projects that I've been wanting to do. But, you know, I do want to say this. I've seen some posts out there and people saying that, and I couldn't agree more with this, that, you know, it's okay if you don't use this time right now to try to accomplish all these things and to learn this new skill or whatever. Deal with it however you need to deal with it. You know, like there's no
This
rule.
is a traumatic time.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. And it's okay if you're having a hard time with this and you just can't use this time to, like, I don't know, learn how to, you know, play guitar or, like, you know, or to just develop a new skill. Just get through it. Whatever you need to do to get through it. You know, if you find comfort in, you know, watching, you know, Netflix and just hanging out and taking your dogs for walks, then that's all you need to do. So there's no rule that says you have to come out of this with, like, some new accomplishment or whatever. So I just want to say that first of all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to remember. I mean, because this kind of sucks right now. You know, it's really, really hard. And there's no reason that people should feel that added pressure that I have to be doing something right now that, you know, speaks to, you know, my work ethic or whatever. So when I come, you know what I mean? It's silly. And I don't think people should need to get caught up in that. But that being said, I just can't sit still because of my nervous energy. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, so I am trying to just do stuff for no other reason, just to keep my sanity. That's just what I have to do. Yeah. So, you know, I've long had this idea of a book that I wanted to put together, a cocktail book, and I am finally working on that, and I'm making a lot of progress with that. It's pretty cool. I'll touch on it real briefly, and maybe, you know, we can talk about that down the road whenever I actually get it done. But it relates to some of these posters behind me. Actually, it's a companion book. I'm writing a book about some of my all-time favorite albums that inspire me and have inspired me over the years, and I'm creating an original cocktail based on each of those albums. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so, like, Henry Rollins is going to be in the book. The Bouncing Souls are going to be in the book. I've got Dropkick Murphys, a bunch of cool bands that I'm excited about. And I've been, you know, getting permission and corresponding with them. So, you know, about a third of the way through that right now. And that's pretty good progress. And that's something, you know, I'm trying to use this time to work on stuff like that. And, like, why not, right? I finally have the time, so let's try to do it. So that's cool. But some stuff that I'm really excited about that's going on are ways that, so I'm trying to use, you know, you talked about, you know, my brand, as it were. You know, I've got a little bit of a social media following, so I'm trying to use that to my advantage to support some of the people that some of my good friends in the industry that, you know, I want to showcase a little bit. So there's a couple cool things we got going on. I'm doing just a weekly Instagram live, you know, show segment, whatever you want to call it. I'm doing it every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And I'm just going to be doing a little bit of a kind of an interview thing. It's going to be a little bit of a cocktail demo. So I'm just going to be hosting it, kind of guiding them along and showcasing some of these people. On Wednesday, this Wednesday, Lanessa Jones from the Buckeye Bourbon House it's my first episode, my first guest. She's awesome, a dear friend, super talented. She's going to be on there. And I've got some other really great bartenders lined up. And the purpose is, you know, to give the creative outlet for that. And, you know, hopefully if some people learn a new skill along the way, maybe they can tip that person, you know, on Venmo or Cash App or whatever it is. There you go.
Is that backward or is it okay?
I can see it just fine. So I can see it just fine. Yeah.
And I want to put that up. Are you cool if people want to follow you and such?
Yeah, I would love for people to follow me. 614 Whiskey Neat. Yeah. Okay. 614 Whiskey Neat on Instagram. And that's where I'm going to be, you know, I guess, you know, you don't have to follow me to view it. I'm not sure how that works on Instagram. Follow me just to be sure. Just to follow me.
Don't creep on Jesse.
We're going to be doing it on the 8th with Lanessa, and then every week for as long as this, you know, self-distancing quarantine thing is going on, you know. And then, you know, I've got like about a month lined up right now, some really talented bartenders, and it's going to be really fun. And so I hope everybody can check that out and support some of these bartenders. None of the money that's made goes to me. I'm just putting it out there. It goes to the person who's going to be, you know, on the segment that week. So any money that you tip goes directly to them. So also I'm in the process of working on a really fun cocktail competition with Backroom Coffee, and we're looking at possibly bringing in Watershed. They're interested. We're just working out the details. It's going to be an online cocktail competition where people can kind of create some videos incorporating these ingredients, and we're lining up the details right now. It's in the very early stages, but we want it to be, bartenders who are affected by this, and we'll have multiple places, first, second, third, fan favorite. They'll be winning a combination of money and also like grocery store gift cards and things like that. To kind of help.
Oh, that's cool.
That's very cool.
I think it'd be fun. Yeah. So there's some cool stuff going on, and I'm just trying to pay it forward. I was fortunate enough to do the another cool thing that people want to do to support. It doesn't involve me directly, but Echo Spirits here in Columbus is doing a weekly cocktail class every Thursday at 7:30. So I did that last week. Okay. They had me go on there and do that, and that was really fun. And I had a lot of people.
What did you make?
It's important, huh?
What did you make?
So it was.
What did you make?
What did I make? So I did a couple different drinks. So it was overall the whole purpose of my particular class was to teach the techniques behind shaking, stirring, built cocktails, why you do what you do. And there's a lot more there than what you might think. And we're really trying to, they're really trying to gear this towards the home bartender. So I did a couple different, me and Derek Reno is their bar director. We did a couple different whiskey sours, one with egg white, one without. And we talked about how you can, kind of do those different techniques. Nothing super complex because we didn't want to jump the gun. They're building on each week, to build on the previous week's class. And then I did a fun old-fashioned riff with their rum, which is really good. So if anybody wants to go on and watch that, you can watch the replay if you want to check that out. Christina Bastion did the first week. They're going to be doing at least 6 or 7 more episodes. So that's a cool way to go on there and learn some stuff. And there's a ton of great ways for people to support the bar community and that are going on right now. The United States Bartending Guild National Charity Foundation, people can go on there and donate, and that's a national organization. I'm just trying to do my part and to help out some of the local bartenders here and some people that I love and respect, and just trying to pay it forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like we briefly discussed before we came on, like some of those people have nothing at this point, no side hustle or no spouse to support. I mean, you are very blessed in that situation, but it's, I know a couple of friends that work as actors / bartenders or actors / servers, and that's gone. Yeah. Like everything is gone.
This came out of nowhere. And, there's a lot of people that, say you're a single individual, or even if you're in a relationship and both of you work in this industry. And, I'm just talking about the bar industry because it's what I do, but to your point, there's so many other, actors are affected, musicians cannot tour and do things like that. It's not just, I just keep going back to that because that's just what I see and know, but there's a lot of people, that are affected by this, and not everybody, it's not like we knew this was coming, so a lot of people weren't able to save for this, and also this particular time of year in the bar industry is not exactly the strongest. You're going from the winter. So there's not a surplus of cash going around. It's not like you're flush with all this extra business. We were just getting to that point in the spring.
Right.
So it really hits hard for a lot of people. So it's been awesome to see how much, I'm not just the Columbus bar community, but just overall, I've got friends in other cities and other states, and just people are really supporting the bartenders and the love and appreciation for that. It's pretty cool because a lot of times in this industry, you hear people say, crap like, when are you going to get a real job to some younger bartenders or not that harsh, but what's your real job, or what are you going to do? You know what I mean? And everybody that's ever been a bartender has dealt with that. So it's cool to see the love and support and just appreciation, and not even talking like, like people giving you money or in a monetary sense, just the appreciation for the job, servers, bartenders, cooks, the whole shebang. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I feel like a lot of that's going to change over this entire thing too. I feel like a lot more respect is going to start going to people who do jobs like that, and well deserved too. I mean, it's a hard industry right now. There's tons of hard industries out there that are getting slammed by this thing.
A buddy of mine's a financial advisor, and I'm just like, he goes, it's interesting. Not a lot of people are looking to invest in the midst of a new Great Depression and a pandemic that's worldwide. So, I'm like, oh my God, I never even. So, like, you always hear about these other jobs that are affected. You don't even think about it. Like, of course, there's not people that are going out and like buying cars right now, probably, or whatever it is.
Right.
There's a lot of people that are affected by this.
Yeah.
It's hard.
We are saving quite a bit on gas money right now, I will say. Quite a bit.
I mowed my yard a couple days ago, and I went to get gas. It was $1.64 a gallon. And I was like, oh, my God.
Oh, right.
So weird.
Little victory.
Yeah.
Little victory.
Yeah, I'll take it. And
I saw somebody posted earlier today. They said that they were getting something like 3 weeks to the gallon right now in gas. They're doing really well.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But I'm the kind of person, like, I love traveling in a car. I love road trips. One of my favorite things is this time of year when it's starting to get warm is to roll all the windows down and blast the heat because I'm cold all the time. But just blast music, blast the heat, and just fly down not fly. I follow the speed limit, but fly within means. I'm going to stop talking. We did it actually last night with the kids. I was giving them an education about Neil Diamond. I think it was time for them to learn. So we went through several of Neil Diamond songs, and we just drove for a half an hour, and it's like.
What were the songs? I gotta know.
I started with Brother Love's Traveling Salvation Show. What did we move on to? Cherry Cherry was after that. We didn't go for super long. I also pulled up some Frankie Valli too. So
nice.
Yeah,
cool.
Nice.
Little music education last night.
Have you guys seen Neil Diamond's little coronavirus riff?
Yes, I posted it on the
Don't
on
touch
the quarantine
me.
page. Yeah.
I won't touch you.
I heard he stopped touring too. That makes me very sad.
I didn't know that, but it's hard to see some of the, those guys like Huey Lewis stopped touring. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a bummer. Like, and I never even considered seeing Neil Diamond or Huey Lewis in concert until I realized that I couldn't anymore, and then I wished that I would have. You know what I mean? Just because you can't.
I did see Neil Diamond, and he was fantastic.
I
saw him about 6 years ago. Yeah.
I bet.
It was a really good show.
Anybody that's ever been to a baseball game or just a wedding or whatever, you've sung along to Sweet Caroline, and you've had a blast doing it. So there's a lot of people out there that probably think they don't like Neil Diamond, but secretly you do.
I feel like most live music things are worth going and seeing. It's like no matter who the artist is, even if it's not somebody who's like your favorite, but like seeing somebody live is so completely different than going and just listening to an album or something like that.
I mean, I have to at least like something about them. There's certain artists that I have no desire. Like I'm not going to go see Korn. I'm not going to go to a Korn concert or Limp Bizkit or something like that. But if I know like one song, then someone's like, hey, you want to go? I'm like, yeah, why not? You know what I mean? Like I'm not a super big country music fan, but I would go see like Brad Paisley if somebody had a ticket because he's a really good guitarist. So because I'm sure it'd be amazing live, to your point.
Yeah.
Jesse, what is the best concert you've ever been to? Like,
so I've been to. Normally, this would be a really hard question, and I don't know. Maybe I've never told you this story, but I mean, I have been to. I don't know. I've seen thousands of bands over the years. It's crazy, but I can pick my favorite concert because Bruce Springsteen for me. I grew up in punk rock, but Bruce Springsteen is that guy that supersedes everybody. He's my absolute hero, and he's just amazing. And I've seen him a bunch of times. He is the boss. He really is. And I've seen him so many times, but the most special concert, and really just a great concert too, was when me and my wife just started dating. We were living in Louisville, and we came to Columbus to see him at Nationwide Arena. And this was going to be the very first time that Christina was going to meet my parents. So we went to Tony's Italian restaurant and South High, and we had dinner, and that's when they met. And then we were going there, and then we were going to the concert afterward, and it was just amazing. My mom had never seen Springsteen at that point. Me and my dad had seen him together. My wife had never seen my now wife had never seen Bruce Springsteen. So it was just all of these special moments. I've got pictures from it. I've got it's just a really special moment because I knew I was going to marry her. And this was me introducing to my parents, and I'm introducing her to something that's so special in my life, in this music. And it was just awesome. Just looking over at my mom and dad, and they're just like singing and everything. And like 2 songs in, Christina, who didn't really know a ton about Bruce Springsteen, except for me, just like, hey, you have to listen to all these songs. She looks over at me and she goes, I get it now. And I'm like, oh my God, my heart, I love it. You know what I mean? So
that's
you know,
awesome.
That's awesome.
Told me that story before, but yeah.
What'd you say?
You have told me that before.
I thought I had, yeah. Because
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite. Because anytime you're talking about concerts, that's my favorite story. And I've been to a ton of shows where I've just had an absolute blast and seen some amazing bands, you know, great performances. But just because it's Bruce and everything going on surrounding that show, that's the best. That's number one. What about you guys?
So, oh gosh,
favorite concert?
Ben.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Well, okay. I'm going to give two answers, and I realize it's a cop-out because the first answer is going to sound like one you're going to go, oh, okay.
Sesame Street
Weird Al
Live,
Yankovic was number one.
That's awesome.
He's an incredible performer and an amazing musician, an accomplished person. Then before that, I'm going to say, oh, gosh. I saw Michael Jackson for my 10th birthday in '89, and that was pretty incredible. He did like live magic on stage, and I mean, it was awesome. So, and yeah.
What album was that he would have been supporting in '89? Was that Bad?
I think it was probably Bad, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, an incredible band and dancers, the whole thing. It was at I want to say Dayton Hara Arena, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, I can't quite remember exactly which arena it was in Dayton. But
yeah, those are both pretty wild. I've never seen Weird Al, but I've always heard how amazing he is, and I would love to see him because
my favorite part is like, okay, like I've been a Weird Al fan since I was a little kid, but I mean, like he's been in the business for like since the 70s, and so he goes on stage and does like 10 costume changes the entire time, which is incredible in and of itself. But each time he's going for a costume change, they have a big screen up behind him that they show, like, here's all the stuff he's been in, like movie cameos and shows and anything he's done a voice for. And they just kind of do the supercut behind him. And it's amazing how prolific an artist he is and well-known and well-loved he is. Yeah.
And he's very talented too. And
super.
I mean, he actually has a really good singing voice.
He does.
It's just not. They're silly songs and they're fun, but he's a very talented musician. I think people overlook that.
Well, like the other a couple days ago, I saw him on Twitter. He posted a video of him playing classical gas on an accordion. And I mean, it was like, that's incredible.
Yeah,
amazing.
Only Weird Al.
That's amazing.
Krista, who's your favorite concert?
You're up, Krista.
Boys to Men.
No, I've never seen. I would love to see Boyz II Men. To be fair, I don't see a ton of concerts. There's, I think, probably growing up with a mother as an opera singer and a father who also performed, I saw more theater and stage stuff than I saw like rock concerts. My first was Alanis Morissette. That was the first
awesome.
show I saw.
That's a good one. That's cool.
It was okay. Yeah, she was all right. My favorite. I went with my girlfriend Kate to see Chicago and Earth, Wind and Fire probably 6 years ago.
I love Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh my gosh.
They're amazing.
It was so funny because she grew up listening to Earth, Wind and Fire. I grew up listening to Chicago, huge Chicago fan. And so
a great horn section. That's for sure.
Yes. And they came together and they did several of each other's songs at the end. And it was just like,
that's incredible.
Oh my gosh. And also when I didn't realize how much of Earth, Wind and Fire I did know. When you don't associate the band with, it's like, oh, I know this one. And Kate was the same way with Chicago. And I'm like, yeah, you love Chicago now. But my favorite part of that one was the guys from Earth, Wind and Fire. In between one of the songs, they said, now some of you were raised on this music, and some of you were conceived to this music. Just like.
Well said. It's true.
There it is. There it is.
It's fun whenever you see a band like that you don't realize how many songs that you know. I had a similar experience. I guess it was last summer. So working at the West End, we're right across from the Columbus Commons, and they do a lot of summer concerts there. So me and Aaron Andrews, one of the bartenders there, we walked over after our shift was over on a break, and we went to go watch Kool and the Gang. And
that's awesome.
It was awesome. I mean, Celebrate or Celebration, whatever it's called, a couple of songs. And I walked away with like 5 songs that I knew, and I just didn't know that they did. And I was like, oh my God, like I know so many Kool and the Gang songs. I just didn't know it was Kool and the Gang. So it was fun.
Yeah.
Like Ladies Night, I didn't know it was Kool and the Gang. Maybe I should have. I didn't know.
Now you do.
Oh,
my favorite performer, going back to Weird Al, my favorite performer has actually had Weird Al sing on some of his albums. I'm obsessed with Ben Folds. Ben Folds is my number one artist.
I like Ben Folds. He's good.
He is great.
And it's his collaborations similar to Weird Al, just kind of the random things and people that he works with. And he's just super clever, very funny, likes the F word a lot.
My kind of guy. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
A couple of years ago, I saw George Clinton in the Parliament Funkadelic in concert too, and I have to say that was probably one of my top 3 as well. Like, that was an incredible concert. So, yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Jesse? Who have you seen the most? Like, I've seen this person 85 times.
Nobody that many times, but Springsteen is up there. We're hovering around double digits with all these guys. Springsteen, the Misfits, Gaslight Anthem, The Offspring. I've seen a bunch. Who else? I don't know. I mean, those are some off the top of my head that I can think of. I've seen Lucero a bunch. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of bands that I've seen like 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And then, but those guys are probably like 9, 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there each.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I don't know. It's so once upon a time I had a spreadsheet with all the bands that I ever saw and how many times I saw them. And that was like a decade ago. And I really wish I could find that and update it. It's I have trouble remembering everybody that I've seen. I have to go back to, it's like a music festival. I have to go back to the festival and be like, oh my God, yeah, I did see that band. I forgot. The Hold Steady was there. I forgot.
Ben, who's your top bands that you've seen?
Like number of times?
Yeah.
Or I haven't seen that many repeat acts. I did see live a couple of times in the 90s when they played at Polaris up north.
Why can I think of who live is?
They had the one big song that they did was Lightning Crashes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I Alone and Dolphins Cry and
a
bunch of big radio hits.
Yeah. So there's my family walking by in the background. So
hi family. It's much nicer to see that than Christmas lights slapping you on the back of the head with tape on that.
I don't know. That was pretty good. No, I mean, like, oh gosh. I mean, I've seen, the more I sit and think about it, the more acts that I can think of that I have seen. You said Kool and the Gang earlier, and it reminded me years ago when I was in high school, we saw Casey and the Sunshine Band at almost like a private event that was like put on at the New Albany Country Club. And it was like, I want to say like 150 people, something like that. And Casey and the Sunshine Band played. And I mean, that's cool. That was really cool. Yeah. I mean, not the kind of music I would like, put on repeat or anything like that. But I mean, like, I certainly know all of their, big hits, and, seeing a band play is kind of cool. So,
yeah, I mean, like, I completely agree with where you're coming from. I've never owned one of their albums, and I probably won't. But if somebody said, hey, do you want to go see them with like 150 people? I'm there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Especially like a small, intimate crowd and everything like that. And if, if they're, doing any kind of a, show at all, like, I think that sounds really cool, Yeah,
totally. It's a fun
one of my favorite bands back, I learned about them in college. They were mostly played in the South, so nobody in Ohio really knew about them, but a band called Jump Little Children. And they started out, they all went to North Carolina School for the Arts. They met each other, super talented musicians. They've got the guitarist, they've got the drummer, but then they also have a dude that plays the tin whistle and the harmonica. And then, like all of these different instruments. And he also raps. And then they have the bassist plays the upright bass. And then they have a cellist. And so it's just this random smattering. And I saw them once and fell madly in love. And then one year they were doing... They hired probably 4 musicians to come with them, just string orchestra, and play along with them. And I loved, there might have been 200 people, maybe, in the audience. They did these on purpose to keep it. And they said, we really do request that you stay seated the entire time. treat this as a concert. Don't treat this as, where you normally would be standing and rocking out. We want you guys to sit and just be performed to. So it kind of started off with this whole vibe anyway, but it made it so much more intimate, where even the musicians had a lot more time to talk in between the numbers. And I remember one of the guys, he started his song and he gets through and he's like, yeah, I can't remember the words. What's the next part? And he asked the audience to remind, that there's something about being in that intimate setting with musicians where the guard kind of goes down. I mean, they're still performing, but it's having that space and that, thank you, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Oh my gosh, I miss live music. Sorry. I waxed poetic. You're muted, Ben. Ben, you're muted.
Can't hear you, Ben.
Say that again, you're muted.
In the 90s. Okay.
And you gotta get a doctor to pull it out again.
This will date me. I was at a Mighty Mighty Boss Tones concert.
I love the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
They put on a hell of a show.
Yeah.
And they were taking audience requests. They were just up there and they're like, okay, who wants us to play something? And people are just yelling things out and they're like, oh yeah, that's a good one. Let's do that one. And they all go to start and they all look at each other and they're like, I can't remember how that one starts. And I love stuff like that where it's yeah.
Did
you say that dates you, but I've seen them as recently as 2 years ago. I still love them.
Really? Oh, that's awesome to know that they're still touring. That's great.
They're flawless, man. They sound so good.
Man,
live.
you know what? Ska is one of those styles of music that I kind of wish hadn't gone away because I really dig the horns and the rock and the whole thing. Yeah, no, it's very much still here. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I like plenty of ska bands. I mean, there's an element of that to Rancid for sure. There's Real Big Fish and
Real Big Fish.
Yep.
Did a cover of Take on Me that is fantastic.
I have that.
This is great, and that song's great to begin with.
Yes.
One of the all-time classic videos of all ever in music history, and then the ska version of it is fun.
Have you heard? Aha Take on Me is probably my favorite song, hands down. It's my ringtone. I keep pointing down here. My phone is here. It's my ringtone. But have you heard Morton Harkett, who's the lead singer of Aha, sing it acoustically?
Oh, it's incredible.
It is beautiful. And he is a beautiful man. So I personally enjoy watching that as well. But that was for me, growing up on that song. I had such a crush on him in that video. It was like, he's hot. Oh, I like the song. So it was all of those things.
There's a guy
who's also good. Okay.
There's a guy on YouTube that plays a cover of and it's Everybody Wants to Rule the World, and I think that Tears for Fears, if I'm not mistaken.
The Hammer Dulcimer?
Yes, and then he played this whole thing, and it's this incredible cover. Got to the point where Tears for Fears actually heard it, and the lead singer went out there and sang along with him as he's playing this. I mean, unbelievable. So good. Yeah.
I like that song to begin with. I took my dad for Father's Day 4 years ago to see Don Henley in Cincinnati, and he covered that song, and it was awesome.
That would be good.
That's awesome.
His voice is great. People, for whatever reason, it's become fashionable, I think, because of Lebowski, to hate on the Eagles.
Yeah.
But the Eagles are all-time great band, and Don Henley's voice is one of the all-time great rock singer voices. I think.
I agree.
Did he recently pass, or was that Glenn Frey?
It was Glenn Frey.
Glenn Frey died.
He was great too. That was sad.
Yeah.
I think they've got the Eagles are still touring, and they've got Vince Gill sitting in for Glenn Frey.
Oh, that'd be good.
That's a good match.
Glenn Frey's son as well. So the Eagles have always had that a country leaning sound anyway.
Yeah.
So, I don't know much about Vince Gill. I'm not particularly a fan, but I think it's cool to kind of bring that together and embrace it.
He's married to Amy Grant, isn't he?
Yeah, that much I know. That's really all I know about him.
Apparently, that's all I know either. And there's our segment on Vince Gill. Yes. Thank you. Oh man,
the Vince Gill Education Hour.
I hope Vince Gill doesn't watch this. I'm gonna feel really bad.
We're gonna get an email from Vince Gill going, "Hey guys, I got a lot more going on than just dating Amy." He'd just be like, okay, yeah,
cool.
I'll take it.
Not wrong, yeah.
I'll take it. Yes, Jesse, it is so good to see your face, but just to know that you guys are doing okay, and You've become one of my favorite humans, our favorite humans. You know that. And I appreciate you so much. You keep this positive spin going in everything that you do. So just keep doing that, because it really, your spirit is affecting other people, and it always has. So
it's so nice to hear. I'm just trying to do my small little part in my little corner of the world. So it means a lot to hear you say that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and
If everybody's doing their small little part in their corner of the world, then I think the world's going to do pretty well. So thank you for doing it. It's awesome.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure.
I cannot wait to come into your bar and have a cocktail.
I'll join you. That sounds really nice right now.
Come on in. I hope I remember how to bartend when this is all said and done.
Stop it.
I picture you practicing at home on some little kind of like quick setup bar thing that you've got, and you just throw things together real quick. And
my wife wants like a glass of water, and I'm like, just giving her the good ice, stirring it. There you go.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So people need to join in on Wednesday to hear your live show on Instagram, yes?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, it's not as put together as what you guys do on a regular basis. I'm being serious. Stop it. I mean, it's just going to be a live thing that I'm doing, similar kind of fun. It's just going to be like fun, casual, a little bit of an interview, and then some of my favorite people in the industry are going to be making some drinks and teaching a little bit of some cocktail technique for those at home every Wednesday at 7 p.m. For the foreseeable future. We're going to keep it going as long as everybody's out of work and has the time on their hands, because once we get back to the real world, or whatever that means in the future, most bartenders are going to be working on Wednesday nights. Yeah. So we may continue it and just go to a taped format or something. I don't know. But in the meantime, this is something cool. I hope everybody gets a chance to check it out and, support some of your favorite local bartenders.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well,
we'll drop a link in the description here so we can get people to the page and do the whole thing. And if you've got Patreon links and everything like that too, we'll hit those up too.
Right on. Cool.
So that's awesome.
And if you feel like you need a customer and you just need to like make a cocktail, I'll just give you my address. You can drop off.
You can drop them on the front porch.
I can actually do that.
I'll tell you what time we're starting. Yeah, I'll tell you what time we're starting our math homework, and that will be perfect timing then.
I can actually do that. I got time to fill.
Social distancing, right? Oh my goodness. Well, Jesse, thank you again, and we will. You're going to be on again. I'm not even going to say, will you come on some other? No, you're going to be on again later.
When I finish the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And thank you out there. I'm talking to the dot on my screen.
Yes.
Because this is what we do now.
Yeah.
Doing all of these weird acting trainings is like, oh, now this is how I connect with you. I see this small dot, and I can't look at myself, but I can see my head moving in the background while I do, sort of like Christmas lights falling behind. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. This obviously is the format that we are going to use for Speak Easily in the meantime, just to keep ourselves and our
We're going to try to keep improving it a little bit as we're going to, so it's going to hopefully or not, maybe more. If we have Christmas lights drop every single time, I think that's a nice look too. So
oh my gosh. I'm ready to not have this day happen anymore. But we're going to continue to drop new episodes on Tuesdays as much as we possibly can.
Yep.
But yeah, if you've got ideas for guests, people seem to have time.
And you know what? We can literally call them anywhere now. So yeah, we can get a hold of anybody we want. Sometime we ought to just do an episode where it's like we just try to just get a hold of random people as much as we can.
Do that. Yeah. What'll be really fun is just to hear people's messages when we can't get in touch with them.
Yeah.
They'll be like, why is Krista calling? I'm not picking up.
You never know if they see your name come up on the phone, they might be on a live episode. It's hard to say one way or another.
Don't you think that's a bit intimidating? Like, you might see me call you.
Welcome to the COVID world, man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But anyway, subscribe, follow us on on Instagram and Facebook, which is where we post all new episodes. Speak Easily with Krista Stauffer is sponsored. No, it's not.
Who is it sponsored by? This is new.
Not sponsored by this tape, because this tape sucks.
Yep. It definitely did. So,
all right.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you, and stay safe out there. Stay healthy. Watch out for the bath salt zombies, and watch out for people who don't wash their hands. Wash your hands, and don't touch your face. Don't do it. You want to right now. Don't. Oh man. All right. You blew it. All right. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
Boxland Media. Think big.